Hello, everybody. Welcome to the XP Billionaires podcast. My name is Rafe. I'm joined by Sky, the Malzerker, and we are coming at you with some fun RPG stuff. Let's say hello to everybody. Sky, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm cold. I'm good. We had a big heat wave here and then it cooled right down again, so I'm kind of in shock.
Yeah, it's definitely been weird. Our weather has gone from I don't want to be outside to I don't want to be outside, but for different temperature reasons. It's very strange. Mel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I have started Disco Elysium, and I'm really enjoying talking to my Thai, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that after this episode. So
Excellent.
it's so lippy.
Oh, just wait till all the delightful things you're gonna cover in that game. There's so many.
I do love Kim. He's such a lovely person. I just want to give him a big ol' hug.
I've played through twice and both times I couldn't make him upset or angry in any way. I just could not find it within my heart.
He's just super pure. My heart.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to getting to play that one. I'll get to it someday. Until then, I will continue my quests with Star Trek Online, and I will play Mega Man X Command Mission until it's finished. It's been a classic.
Yeah, we've been going back to our PS2 a fair bit lately, actually.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling sometimes. It's relaxing to go back to something that is either very, very familiar if we're just playing something we've played before, or just playing something so retro that it's not going to have the same gimmicks of the current generation of games. Which, good and bad. I mean, I do miss autosave, but I just got to remember to save at every save point. That's all.
Yes, you're so good at that.
No, I'm not. Let's not split hairs. I am terrible at it. I'll skip at least one, and then the game will freeze, and then I'm screwed. So that's just what happens. It's a reality. I've come to accept it and hate myself for it every single time.
Fair enough.
All right, well, let's get with today. And welcome to another edition of The Arena, where we pit RPG characters against one another in a no-holds-barred, bare-knuckle brawl. In the past Arena episodes, we've pitted heroes against heroes. We've also put villains against villains. Today, however, we have something very special for you, and that is Mascots. That's right, we are pitting the mascots of our beloved RPG franchises, as well as the mascots for the developers known for their RPGs. And they are going to fight like there is no tomorrow, because for one of them, there will not be. Today, we will show who stands at the top and bask in all the glory that can be earned from three random people on a podcast. Well, I don't know, seems good enough for me, so without further ado, let's get it on.
Who will win? Who will lose? Are we right? Probably.
Well, we'll find out. All right, so we're going to start it off with something simple, straightforward, and gooey. Our first pairing is the Slime from Dragon Quest versus the Pony from the Atelier series. Let us begin.
So I hate to say this because I think ponies are super duper cute and cuter than slimes, but I don't think they would win.
It depends on the pony. There are ponies the size of a building.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk strictly about like the base blue pony that you would fight at the beginning of any game, because that's the first thing you fight in Atelier, and the slime is usually the first thing you'll fight in Dragon Quest. So we're talking that right then and there.
Maybe they just merged together into one delightful little mushy jello packet.
Oh god, King Slime Pony.
Oh Lord.
Let me give you my idea here. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I think the Puni would actually win. Now, thinking about it from a purely stats point, the Puni would have more hit points to start with because I just find that they'll take a few extra hits more than the slime can. The slime will typically have anywhere from 3 to 5 hit points at any given time, and the slime only really has a basic attack to work with. The Puni, however, has a skill or two that they can use and also can take a few more hits. So I'm thinking in this particular instance, the Puni's got the advantage.
Yeah, I would tend to agree on this one. The Punis are not necessarily unintelligent either. Like, there are cases of, more intelligent Punis. So I would think that they have at least a little more brain power compared to a slime.
Yeah, like what we would see, like I think back to something like watching Dragon Quest Your Story. We had a slime, and it was about as doting as I guess as a dog in some cases, in the way it would follow you around, that kind of thing. I feel like the Puni would understand you a little bit more.
I think so.
But if it
The,
understands you, does it know pain? Does it want to give pain to others?
They do keep attacking us.
I guess they are monsters. Barely, but I guess they are.
yeah, that's a thing, and it's unclear how intelligent an average Puni is. I'm not 100% sure of that, but they do seem to have a bit more of a skill set than your average slime. So I too will say Puni for this one.
All right. Mel, what is your vote at this point? Have we changed your mind, or are you sticking to your guns?
I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna be stubborn. So stubborn.
That's all right. Well, one way or the other, on a vote of 2-1, the Puni takes the win. All right. So let's move on to the next bout. Our next bout pits Eevee from the Pokemon franchise versus Muku Muku, which was the squirrel mascot of Suikoden 2. Let's begin.
Well, I'm the one who came up with this pairing. I do think it is fairly cut and dry. When it comes to EV base form, Muku Muku can basically fly, or at very least glide, which gives it a huge advantage over a basic EV.
Be honest, I didn't actually think of that. Yeah. Now, see, this is a little bit skewed. Now, we're going to just count your standard Eevee. But if this were the Eevee from Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, I would probably say that would be irrelevant because the Eevee can pick up the special elemental skills in that case. But with a standard Eevee, I think you're right. I think Muku Muku would just be able to fly around and just keep tackling him from midair.
Yeah, I love an Eevee, but like they're meant to be made good, right? Like they're meant to be able to like give you flexibility on a team, and they're not that great on their own. I mean, yeah, but Let's Go Eevee is amazing. Can learn literally every move, and I made it so fairy type. But that one can't evolve too, so it's sort of like a weird off-brand version.
Yeah, you're right. Which is why I've kind of not. I didn't want to count that particular Eevee in this particular pairing, but yeah, I'm thinking in this case, it already almost sounds unanimous for this one.
Yeah, I mean, and come on, who doesn't love a squirrel that can basically like belly flop things to death? Because that's basically what he does.
It is pretty funny.
And I one of the reasons why I was like, oh, he really is a mascot because he is the one sort of animal character who can be picked up really early in that game, and the squirrels have a lot bigger of a reputation than any other set of creatures from the Suikoden series. So Um, Muku Muku is particularly special because there's a secret recruitment method where you can get him at basically the very beginning of the game. And he just follows you around through all the chaos, just this little squirrel in a red cape. He's not very good combat-wise compared to any of the humans, but I mean, he's basically a fat flying squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Eevees are basically like a regular squirrel.
Yeah. No, I say flying squirrel. It's really more that he's like a regular squirrel who uses his cape as like a gliding apparatus almost.
He's also got his other team of flying squirrels that he could team up with to create the Squirrel Rangers. They all have different colored capes.
See, if you get the Squirrel Rangers, then you also get some evolutions in there, and I think that's when you start getting a little bit more starts getting more complicated.
Oh yeah, like as soon as you put Eevee evolutions into the mix, like Eevee wins the fight, no question. The squirrels are not really powerful at all. However, base Eevee against really any of the base squirrels, I think the squirrels would win it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. All right, so do we have a unanimous vote?
Sadly, yes.
I think so. And don't get me wrong, I'm a little sad too. I love me some Eevee.
Yeah, well, love doesn't matter in the arena. So at this point, I officially declare Muku Muku the victor. All right, let's keep this bloodbath going. And this time we're going back into the Pokemon world and we're putting Pikachu, the electric rodent, the one who captured all of our hearts when we captured it, versus Koromaru from Persona 3, the dog with the Hound of Hell as its persona.
I mean, how can you not love Koromaru? Like, he's a dog who literally shoots himself in the head to summon a persona. And he fights with the humans, and he lives in their house, and he has Cerberus.
Yeah, like I think there's no question here. Koromaru would just eat Pikachu. That dog is hardcore.
Right? Like Koromaru basically has his own Pokemon. He's a trainer on his own.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, I always thought that with Koromaru, he wasn't shooting himself in the head. I always thought he had like a very special shock collar, which is what summoned his persona.
Yes, that's actually what it is. His evoker is built into his collar.
Yeah, but they give him something that makes him fear for his life. And he chooses to use it.
Yep. I don't know, like Pikachu is really fast, and I feel like he'd have a good chance on the dodge, and his electric powers are pretty high up there. So I don't know. I feel like this one's a lot tougher to call than you guys think. You also have to keep in mind, and I know we've brought this up in past arenas too, that all Pikachu has to do is duck and weave the persona's attacks and go for the person. So I don't know. I'm on the fence here.
That's a dog that fights with a knife.
Yeah, and Pikachu's got Iron Tail, which is essentially a giant hammer-like tail attack.
Yeah, that's true. However, we're looking at in the arena scenario, we're looking at two opponents with no chance to sneak up on each other. Just they're fully aware of each other. I have trouble believing that Pikachu would be able to close very easily with Koromaru.
With Pikachu's abilities, what he would have agility, which means he would be able to move fairly quickly. You can also give Pikachu double team, which would basically create after images and basically shadow clones of himself, making it that much harder for him to be hit. I don't know. I think that Pikachu has the ability to not even be sneaky about it. It's just by using the right move set, he's got a good shot at holding his own.
I've brought up some of the stuff that Koromaru gets.
Okay.
I think one of the things we're forgetting here is that Koromaru has access to Mudo spells.
Yeah, he's a death and fire doggy, right?
Yeah. Which makes things a little bit more difficult. And in fact also has, according to this, as of the answer at least, has Evil Smile and Ghastly Wail available. So instill fear and then kill all foes who are fearful.
Yeah, and then Stagnant Air to up your susceptibility. Like, he can do a pretty good combo there. He also gets 8 moves over 4 moves, which I know isn't fair. That's just a rule of the game, but...
Yeah. If he just had the fire spells, that would be one thing. I think I'm going to stick to my guns and still say he could probably take Pikachu with Mudo spells.
All right. Well, one way or the other, it is definitely a 2-1 vote. So I'm gonna lose this one. So that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's only one. I'm okay with it.
It's a good afterwards. We can cuddle all of them, and I think that makes us all the winners.
That's very fair.
Exactly. One other thing I will point out in regards to Koromaru, he also has very high agility stat.
Okay, so I guess maybe that would get in the way. Well, I'm still gonna root for the little guy, so I'll take my loss here, and we'll officially declare Koromaru this fight's champion. All right, we have 2 more fights for you guys coming up right now. The first of which is the Shin Megami Tensei mascot of all time, Jack Frost, versus not only the mascot of Disgaea, but basically Nis America in general, the Prinny. Let's get it on. So here, I probably have to give it to Jack Frost. Mostly because, one, he's going to have a bigger skill set. And 2, Prinnies just suck.
Yeah, I'm a little more torn here, simply due to the fact that Prinnies are essentially explosive.
But yeah, like once they explode, they're done. So basically all Jack Frost would have to do is pick it up and toss it, or even just punt it a little bit, and then that's the end of the fight. I mean, that would be the case Prinny versus anyone, really. But I know the Prinnies are weak to fire, so Jack Frost's ice spells aren't really going to matter. But what little bits of physical prowess Jack Frost would have, I think, would help him take it.
Yeah, to your point, I was thinking the one who's got a bit of fire is gonna win, but you make a good point. Like, can you still be claimed to win when you blow yourself up?
Yeah. Yeah, all right, you've convinced me.
Yeah, I think this one, as much as I hate to say it, like we wanted to put the Prinny against somebody. And unfortunately, I feel like that was just going to be such a one-sided loss that it didn't matter who we put them against. I feel kind of bad about it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't think I could find something that the Prinny could beat easily. I'm having trouble thinking about it.
Well, and one of the things about the Prinny too is that they just suck. That's the whole point of them. Like, they're not, generally speaking, your average Prinny is not meant to be good. I think we basically have our winner.
Yeah, at this point, I think that there was no contest at this point. I'm sorry that this was such a weak ass fight for you guys, for my audience, but with a unanimous vote, we declare Jack Frost the winner. All right, we are down to the final match of the day. And this final match was sure not going to disappoint. For this match, we have the Moogles of Final Fantasy versus the mascot of a time-honored, well-loved, and sometimes forgotten monster breeding franchise. I'm talking about Mochi from the Monster Rancher video games. And if you haven't played a Monster Rancher game, we're going to have a discussion because these are so good.
They are fun.
All right. So let's get down to brass tacks here. I'm going to think about this one, though.
I mean, I'm leaning towards Mochi, as you know, they're actually bred for fighting,
and point. Yeah.
And they are better built for it than the Moogles are. Though the Moogles would have greater agility is not the right word. Maneuverability, I guess.
Yeah. Now the Moogles are also can be well trained in weapons. Like I think for the Final Fantasy VI, when you had to have all those Moogles, each one had a different weapon type. So at the very least, they have the proficiency to learn weapons. So I think that would help, whereas Mochi doesn't have that. Now, granted, Mochi is the weapon. That just is the case. He turns into a little ball and bounces around and beats you to death.
The other thing to consider about Mochi too is the fact it's actually got a bit of natural armor.
Is that thing on his back armor? I guess it is a little bit of a shell.
I mean, that's what I always assumed it was.
Yeah, I never really thought about it.
See, I was thinking, like, Moogles have been, like, the merchants forever, right? And if you're, like, the sole proprietor of stuff like that, like, you gotta have a pretty good system built in place to protect your shit. Like, there's some strong people that you are keeping it from.
That is true. Yeah, if they're working on their own, then that's certainly something. Though granted, you know, a lot of it depends on which version of Moogles you're talking about, because like the ones that can sort of float slash fly, you know, often could just take off, you know.
Their flying ability is pretty decent too. They do have some maneuverability when they are in the air. But the other thing too is that Mochi's got a couple of moves that would probably help in those situations. Pedal Dance, for example, would send a bunch. It's the equivalent of like Razor Leaf from Pokemon. And Mochi's also got the Mochi Cannon, which is like a giant fireball coming out of its mouth.
I love Mochi. Yeah, it's got, based on the description I found, that is sort of like a shell or scales that appear on the back of the Mochi.
Okay.
And on its back, I think, because it, you know, goes into the ball form, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think you guys have, you've convinced me. This case is. I think I'd vote on Mochi as the winner on this one for those reasons.
I'm gonna stick with my boy the Moogles, but you know what? I haven't played Monster Rancher, so that's probably part of why.
You and I are going to have a conversation because you have no idea what you're missing out on.
Uh-oh, I'm getting called into the principal's office for gaming.
No. This is a good thing because I'm going to bring a whole new world of monster breeding into your life that is so wonderful.
All right.
We'll talk about that in a bit. So our final combat session of the day is a unanimous win with Mochi. We giving Monster Rancher that much more credit. Amazing. All right. So that is our arena for this week. We have pitted your favorite monsters and mascots against one another. And all I need to know is, do you agree with the results? So you can let us know by commenting on the podcast anywhere you're listening to it, or you can hit us up on our social media and find out. You can find me on Twitter at BillionairesXP, or check out my Instagram at Rafe Thegrim. Sky, where can everyone find you?
I'm at SkyKnightXP on Twitter and SkyKnight.xp on Instagram.
All right, Mel, where can everyone find you?
I'm on Instagram at Feminist Gamer and Twitter at FeministGamer3. I also GM a D&D actual play called Darkness and Dragons on Twitch every Wednesday, so check it out. And we also are on YouTube and podcasts if you miss a live version.
All right. And if you want to find out any more of that information we just told you again, check out our website, and that's xpbillionaires.ca. You'll be able to get all the stuff we just said here, plus get our podcast schedule and check out some of our quickfire reviews and written features. So by all means, check that out. And lastly, don't forget to check out our newsletter, which will be coming out very soon if it isn't out by the time this goes live. And that'll be on our coffee page, coffee.com/xpbillionaires. If you'd like to donate, help us along, by all means, please do. And if not, spread the word of our awesomeness. That's all the other thing we can ask. All right, so that's going to be it for us this week. And remember, the fights continue as long as we all keep gaming. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.